for them and welcome them in a very special way in the Ibenedion University style. You know, the owner of this place is a man who oozes a lot of love all over the world, has friends in all parts of the world, and we must celebrate him today. Well, the traditional drummers have taken over this place. In the meantime, well, just so we can reduce the number of those to announce, because time may not permit, let's go right away. There's Ayola Dala of the Nigerian Police Force, Deputy Commissioner of Police. Thank you very much for coming. Honorable Justice Dr. Onibo came in all the way from Osun State, former council member of the Ibenedion University. I'd like to please put your hands together for her. Thank you. Professor Eddie, the Rabbi.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the procession of the Chancellor is about to commence. Permit me please to inform that at the entrance of the Miss Bearer, everybody is to stand and remain standing until the Chancellor takes his position on the platform.
The thing is working, I've refreshed it, it's working. I don't know if that's
just to say again that the Vice Chancellor's procession is the one that is just building up. And like you heard my colleague say, we must be on our feet as soon as we see the last person. Thank you very much. We'd like to call on the university chaplain to please lead us in the opening prayer before the national anthem.
Eternal Father, awesome and everlasting God, we are grateful to you this day because our dream has come to pass. Thank you for the existence of the university, the great University of Canada over these 20 years. Today, Father, is the real day. Thank you for bringing your children from far and near places to this occasion. As we now begin, Father, cause the part of your prayer to be fed. Right from the beginning of the end, we have seen your hand at work. Your angel will be on the guard. Your Holy will take over. Everything we shall do shall be done decently and order. And at the end of it all, honor and glory be ascribed to your name. All of us will live here happy and blessed. For in Jesus' mighty name we are praying. Amen.
The national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Our rise, oh, come and round, Nigeria's power to serve her father's land, with love and strength and faith. Our heroes shall never be to serve with heart and mind. One nation bounding freedom is and
Thank you. Then the anthem of the university.
Our great sleeping angel, university, we heard the last stand for knowledge. Government is beyond us now, and God with vision and mission, to send the lights that are burning to lead this world. God bless you in the dark university. Our deepest committed university, we salute you as you uphold civilization. Lieutenant Princess Fellowship, you are the beacon of hope. Your product and achievement,
Please be seated. Before you came, the statement. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As I said much earlier, I said that the university choir or university band is ready to take on the world. If you agree with me, your hands together for them again. Thank you. That was the best way to predicate today's event. Very colorful event, an event that takes us back in time and will reminisce on the great things, the great idea that has brought this about. 10 years are still, 20 years are still counting. Your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Iuo University. My name is Bisi Olatilo. I'm one of the children of the Enigma, the man who has brought this about. I'm sure so much will be said about it as we go on, but let me just say that I'm very happy to be here, and may the Lord continue to make him wax even stronger. Did you say amen to that? Thank you. So let's give a very big welcome to the Chancellor himself, the man who dreamt about this 20 years ago. Let's give him a big welcome in the way you normally do it in Iuo University. Thank you very much. Thank you. And the man who God used as an instrument to make this happen when he had the single opportunity of ruling General Walker, GCFR. A man of history whose reputation and respectability has been kept intact since after leaving our blessing. Then, of course, the Deputy Chancellor, your own son, who for 8 years was in the saddle here as number one man. Your hands please together for Chief Lottie Ibrahim. My vision was blocked, and I apologize to the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Honorable Shoaibu, for this slip, because I mean, if you're talking about protocol, he should come first. Your hands please together for the Deputy Governor of Edo State. He is standing in for the number one man who actually said so much when Papa himself went to invite him formally to this event. I'd like to replicate, just put what he said, that Chief Ibrahim is a man of ideas, and ideas rule the world. Thank you very much, the governor in absentia. Please let him hear this, that the whole community here also say thank you to him for the good job he's also been doing since he came into office. Thank you very much. God bless you. Now, we have also here in the audience, I call her the multiple emeritus minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Harvard-trained, a woman who has traded in the area that the men always call very strongly to, and has proved her mettle. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Chief Mrs. Nike Akonde, Commander of the Order of the Niger. also here. The chairman of the Governing Council also here with us, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Sheikh Abdallah OON. I'd like you to put your hands together for it, please. Okay, we'd like to quickly ask that the cake designer quickly goes and sort matters out. Please, the cake designer. The cake designer. Thank you. While we're sorting that out, let's continue with the recognitions quickly. The Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission is also here with us, Professor A. Rashid MFR. Your hands please together for him. Thank you. We'd like also to say, ladies and gentlemen, that we have here Emeritus Professor Munzali Jibril, Chairman, Committee of Pro-Chancellors, Past President, Nigerian Institute of Management. He'll be here to talk to us much later. Your hands please together for him. Mentor Professor Luayino, your hands please together for me. He's in very familiar terrain. I haven't spotted the governor-elect of Oyo State, who is going to be the guest speaker today, but let me just recognize Engineer Sheyi Makinde, governor-elect Oyo State. Well, the man here who has not been sleeping the way she's been sleeping in the last 2 months, trying to see that all the I's and everything are properly dotted, so we have a smooth sailing affair. I'm talking about the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lauren Nsike Chukwu Ezemaya. Your hands, please. In fact, I've just been informed that the governor-elect, their hands are very full. They're waiting for the inauguration, which is just about 19 days away. So he's been represented by his deputy governor-elect, also an engineer, incidentally, Engineer Raufu Adeyemi Olayemi, deputy governor-elect of the state. Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, of course, the Governing Council of the Igbinedion University are made of men and women from all parts of Nigeria who have made their mark in their different spheres. One of them is High Chief Senator Dr. Ben Obi OON. He's here in the audience. Thank you very much for coming. Ojeli Igbo. Yes, Professor A.S. Sambo, OON, is also a member of the Governing Council. Thank you very much. Professor A.O. Ilesomi, OON, a member of the Governing Council. I haven't seen Professor Jerry Ghana, but I know his spirit is here hovering and praying for us. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I also see here Dr. Dejimi Omoshofe. Your hands please together for her. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, by the way, that's balancing the equation on a very right footing. Mr. Edwin Okoro is the Registrar and Secretary in Council. Your hands please together for him. These are men who have not slept. I met them here working when I came in here much earlier today. What I'm going to do at the meantime is just to try and coordinate with the PRO of the university, who will bring us up to date with more recognitions before we go into the program proper. By the way, he also has been sweating, working around the clock so that he gets it very right. Let me hand over to you.
Your Excellency, the chairman of today's occasion, General Salami Abubakar GCFR, former head of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, Governor Nogega Selbaseki, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, His Excellency Philip Shuaibu. Please put your hands together for them, please. His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, Rotimi Akeredolu SAN, His Excellency, the Honorary Consul of Romania to Edo and Delta State, the Founder, Chancellor, Visitor, Chairman Board of Regents, Igbinedion University, Okada, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Sir Igbinedion, CFR, COL, GCA, the SMR of the universe, the SMR of the world, the champion in the champion of nature. Your Excellency, the Deputy Chancellor and two-time Governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosakari Igbinedion. Your Excellency, the former Governor of Delta State and founder Western Niger Delta University, Chief James Ibori. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State and distinguished alumni of Igbinedion University Okada, Agbola Alfred Ajayi Aland is on his way. Your Excellency, the Governor-elect of Oyo State and keynote speaker at today's panel discussion on endowment, Engineer Oluwaseyi Makinde, ably represented by the Deputy Governor-elect. Please put your hands together for them. Our Chairman, Governing Council, Igbinedion University Okada, former Chairman, Governing Council, Igbinedion University Okada, Professor Oluwaina, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lawrence Ikechukwu Ezemoye, Fellow Nigerian Environmental Society, Fellow Solar Energy Society of Nigeria, Fellow West African Society of Toxicology, Visiting Professor, University of Lancaster, United Kingdom, members of the Governing Council, members of the Governing Council of Igbinedion University Okada, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to recognize their distinguished Senator Obi, Lady Serenina Ojomo, who's also the Chairman, Independent Television and Radio Board, Professor Sonny Sambo, who's a former Director General, National Energy Commission, all members of Senate, all members of the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Deborah Omosefe Odejimi, the University Registrar, Dr. Edwin Okafo Okoro, the University Bosa, Dr. Nusa Edogaweri FCA, the University Librarian, Mr. Yakubu Izabeka, all members of the panel discussion for today, distinguished Professor Friday Okonofwa, please put your hands together for him, Vice Chancellor, University of Medical Sciences, Ondo State, is the pioneer Vice Chancellor of that university. Please put your hands together for him. Chief Dr. Mrs. Neke Akode Owen, former Minister of Industry of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Fidelis Ayeba, Dr. Tunde Adekola, Professor Lawrence C. Chedoze, and Mr. Theodoro, and also Professor Eddie Eragbe, who will be moderating the panel discussion session. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to recognize all members of Senate of Ibadan University Okada, all visiting vice chancellors and rectors, all members of the judiciary, all members of the armed forces, all members of the diplomatic corps, and our star guest of today, Lady Omotola Jolade. Let's put her together for her. I'm sure she's somewhere. All traditional rulers are present, in particular, the Laure of Use, His Royal Highness Olu Ogbe II. Please put her together for you. All members of the House of Igbinedion, all associates of Igbinedion University Okada, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Obajide Rubo, the head of public relations unit of Igbinedion University. May I, at this point, invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lawrence Ikechukwu Ezemoye.
Your Excellencies, all other protocols I would plead be observed, particularly when it has been established by no other person, DC or Latin law, and fully embellished by our public relations officer. And standing on that protocol, I'll proceed to give the welcome address. It is indeed a great privilege, a priceless one at that, an honor too, to welcome our esteemed dignitaries to the 20th anniversary of Nigeria's premier and leading private university, Igbinedion University of Canada. Iuo the first. Thank you. This university is the first and the best. A brainchild of one man, which has become the jewel of global admiration, and this calls for perpetual thanks to Almighty God. The vision of our founding father and proprietor, Chief Sir Dr. Gabriel Savary Igbinedion, is to establish a different kind of citadel of learning, first of its kind in Nigeria, and indeed in Africa as a whole. And this university is to produce exceptional scholars with depth beyond conventional wisdom, and more importantly, to improve the quality of life. What we are celebrating today is the emphatic, dogged determination of the Isama of the universe, who has transformed the educational landscape of Nigeria. And before I continue, let me use this opportunity to welcome, acknowledge, and greet no other person than Lady Cherry Igbinedion. A mother indeed, a woman of substance, the beauty and the brain, integrity and dexterity. Lady Cherry will welcome you. We are aware that you have provided emotional stability and have contributed to the good health of our father. Thank you and God bless you. And indeed, this one man we are talking about, God not only gave him life, he gave me courage and the ability to navigate all daunting complexities and uncertainties. And what we are seeing today is the fruit of a selfless, benevolent, generous man of God. Sir, You have provided limitless possibilities and opportunities, and may God continue to bless you. Did you hear me?
Amen.
Thank you. Being Nigeria's premier private university with certificate number 001 is an astonishing achievement and transformational. The institution's innovation and credibility represents what Iuo University stands for. Since the last 20 years, the existence of this university has remained absolutely path-breaking and exemplary. The university now has 7 colleges with 29 departments. All are fully accredited with the National Commission, University Commissions, and all relevant professional courses are accredited in this university. I said all, and all means all the programs of the university are accredited academically and professionally. Since 1999, Iuo University has continued to champion educational revolution in higher education in Nigeria, changing the narrative in higher education pedagogy, remaining very relevant as a private university, but with public interest and cosmopolitan in its impartation in the society. Our modest achievement over the years speaks. Has continued to be the nation's treasure, providing the energy and the engine for social mobility, postulating solutions to critical societal problems such as unemployment and unemployability. This 20th Founders' Day celebration is not just auspicious. I dare say that is an appropriate time to reflect on the vision, the mission, the objectives that have established the university. Today, our Smart Campus program are fully accredited, and we have established in the first university in Nigeria 4 ICT academies, which is a testimony of our determination to riding the waves of globalization and technological change. Need I say that our new centers of excellence allows the university to expand our research domain and the frontiers of expertise. The documentary of our Blue Sky graduates revealed that the capacity of our university to produce top-class leaders and intellectual giants is not far-fetched. After watching the documentary, which will be played today, of our Blue Sky graduates, if you are in doubt, that doubt will vanish. Our determination to always produce future-ready generation of leaders remains resolute, with a view to completely dominating the world of ideas. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are all here today because God made a way and permitted it. This is also the opportunity to bring in mind the role of members of staff who pioneered and rendered meritorious service to this university since inception for the last 20 years. 12 of them will be honored today with the Distinguished Pioneering Service Award. Please, if the 12 of you are here, please do be upstanding for recognition. The first set of staff of the university, 12 of you, please be upstanding. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you. Your Excellencies, the trust of this university is built on broad foundation and the collective commitment of all stakeholders. We draw tremendous strength from the dependable, reliable Board of Regents. We have acquired enormous wit from our governing council, led by no other person than Professor Sheikh Abdullah, the guru and the sage himself. I must say that the audacity and the sagacity of our Senate has been very supportive, and the staff of this university are wonderful. Please give yourself a round of applause. What then will I now say of the students? You are absolutely fulfilling, and may God bless you. I've never seen a set of dedicated and devoted students who know why they are here and have a sense of purpose. I have never seen a set of students who are so determined to rule the world. It is my prayer that the Almighty God will perfect His vision in your life. The past administrators and leaders of thoughts of this university, some of them are here. You provided the foundation for which we are building upon. You have always provided immeasurable encouragement to the management of this university. We thank you for your presence, and may God continue to bless you. As I conclude, let me just use this opportunity, a very priceless one at that, to welcome all our excellencies, all distinguished guests, to this significant day, which will remain in the annals of Ibadan University. I thank you for coming, and God bless Ibadan University. Thank you.
Before I invite the chairman of the governing council of the university, please permit me, at the request of the protocol to His Excellency the Governor of Edo State, to reintroduce the representative of the governor appropriately. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shuaibu, Deputy Governor of Edo State, representing the Executive Governor of Edo State. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you permit me to introduce the jewel of inestimable value to our Chancellor, Lady Cherry Igbenedion. Please, thank you very much. I'm also pleased to recognize the Honorable Chief Judge of Edo State, my Lord Justice Francis Iponumi, ably represented by Honorable. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you.
Well, of course, we earlier announced that it's a consortium of masters of ceremonies, and we're running some kind of, what do you call that? It's a shift to, all to celebrate our father and this wonderful university at 20. It brought back the real-time, internationally recognized time when university should start and close. You know, since it started, it's been uninterrupted. I'd like you to put your hands together for that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. But my colleague had earlier announced Edo State contingent, led, of course, by the man who's second in command in the state today. Thank you very much for coming. But I have some commissioners, too, who have accompanied him. Honorable Commissioner for Education, Honorable Emmanuel Abere. I'd like you to put your hands together for him. Honorable Commissioner for Arts and Culture and the Diaspora, Honorable Osang Hero, your hands together for him. And I know that this state will be hosting the world. Jose Bovo is also here with us. Your hands together for him. Entrepreneurship for Physical Planning, Mr. Emona Oye, is also here with us. Your hands please together for him. That is Edo State here, in addition to other well-meaning people who have come to rejoice with us. But all the way from the source in Ilefe, as I told you, our father is such a big man, everybody wants to be close to him. Why? He is such a special person. And that's why I'm saying at this point in time that the Ooni of Ife, His Imperial Majesty,